Good evening. This meeting of the Littleton Licensing Authority will come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Chair Cole.
Here.
Vice Chair Levere.
Present.
Authority Member Buchanan.
Here.
Authority Member Day. Authority Member Schock.
Here.
Authority Member Webb.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Will you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, next item is approval of the agenda. Do any of the authority members have any changes or questions? And if not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
Second. A motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is certification of minutes.
I apologize, I don't have the minutes attached, so you'll get 2 of them next month.
Okay, so we will skip over item 3. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone here who would like to make a comment on something that is not otherwise on the agenda? Seeing none. Next item on the agenda is item 5A, new liquor license application. Resolution 18201 to approve a liquor license application for Stinker Stores Colorado, Inc., doing business as Stinker Store number 331, 7500 South Broadway, Littleton, Colorado. Is there someone, is the applicant here this evening? Yes. Come on down, please. Good evening. Would you identify yourself?
My name is Jerry Nichols. I'm the general manager of Stinker Stores Colorado.
All right, Mr. Nichols, would you raise your right hand and affirm, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give before this authority is truthful?
I do.
All right. So we've got several items here in front of us, including your application. We've got information about your petitions and other things. So we have all that in front of us. Mm-hmm. We usually like to let the applicant, if there's anything you want to go over specifically, and then we're happy to jump in with questions. But sure. If you'd just like to let us know.
Sure. I'll give you a little bit of background of Stinker Stores and how we operate and why we're here today.
Okay.
If you don't mind. Stinker Stores is an Idaho-based company. We have 106 locations that we own and operate, 40 locations here in the great state of Colorado. We did recently, February 2019, purchased Bradley Petroleum out here, and so we've owned them and operated them since then. We are currently in the application process, some approval process of 15 applications for 3.2 off-premise beer licenses for our stores. We currently have over 60 beer and wine licenses in the state of Idaho that we've had for, 18 years, 18 to 19 years. In regards to the security, sales, merchandising of alcohol in our stores. If you'd like me to go through some of the processes, procedures, and policies we have, I'd gladly do that.
That'd be great. And we also included in the application is a diagram of the store. So if there's anything you want to say about, the store itself, about the layout,
yeah,
go ahead and address that as well.
Our store at 7500 Broadway, 331. I'll get to the physical layout of that. Our process for ensuring the proper and legal sale of tobacco and alcohol, we require each one of our team members to participate in new employee training. In that training, we go through an extensive module of alcohol and tobacco product sales, which include IDing, third-party sales, and sales to inebriated customers. In the onboarding process, we also require all of our employees, as they onboard into our company, to read and acknowledge policy and procedure associated with alcohol and tobacco sales. That training is renewed on an annual basis, and actually it's renewed fairly often within the stores, more specific to IDing than anything else. Since we've owned and operated 331 at 7500 Broadway, we have not had any tobacco stings. We currently do not sell any alcohol in that store. The layout of 331 is rectangular. I can't give you directions. I'm not good with directional descriptions, but it's a square format with a single door entry on the frontage of the store itself. We propose to merchandise the beer in cooler doors in our cold vault. To the, I don't know what it would be, I'm thinking south.
To your right as you walk in.
To your right when you walk in, thank you. Our site selection for alcohol, and this is based on history and just good practices, is to make sure you have line of sight from the sales counter. We also have, and we'll adjust for anti-theft mirrors so that we can see blind spots. That location that we've selected does not have a lot of blind spots. It doesn't have a direct access to an exit, to a bathroom, or anywhere else on the sales floor where somebody could, sneak beer and walk out. And additionally, somebody would have to walk past the sales counter to exit the store. We will secure the cooler doors, lock them during non-sellable hours. We also have some internal controls with our POS system for proper IDing. We scan IDs, and we also have a manual process for non-scannable IDs, or if we just have questions, our POS system prompts our CSSs, our cashiers, to manually input a date. So
that, because it's a point of sale system, that would be no matter how old the customer looks, the system is automatically going to prompt?
Yes.
Okay.
It updates to make sure that the time frame from the date of sale to the 21 years of old is qualifying. We also, our policy is anybody under 40 years of age for tobacco and alcohol, if there's a question about that.
So if someone appears to be over 40, the clerk can override that part of the point of sale?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Is there anything else you specifically want to know about what we do or how we operate?
Any questions from the authority specific to procedures?
Sir, of the 40 jurisdictions in Colorado where you have stores, can you give us a summary of any potential liquor violations over the past couple of years?
We have not had any liquor violations over the past couple of years. And in fairness, we only have a beer license in one store in Morrison. So the 15 additional licenses that we've applied for are new licenses.
Okay. Do you have other licenses intended for Littleton?
No.
This is the store at the corner of Dry Creek Road and Broadway in the southeast corner?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions on procedures? Do you want to go ahead and get to your petition? If you have a vendor you want to call up?
Yes, we have a nice third-party vendor that's worked with us on several of our stores now, and I'm sure he'll give you some clarification on the needs and wants survey.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Scott. Can you
Excuse me.
formally identify yourself for the record?
My name is Max Scott, 1X2Ts. I own and operate Oedipus Incorporated.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give before this authority is truthful?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, and as I mentioned, we do have a copy, so go ahead and,
I love this jurisdiction, and staff is great to work with. And I just had my share of brain damage with 2 licenses in Boulder, where they don't say the Pledge of Allegiance, by the way. We were retained by Stinker. We entered into a contract. We don't guarantee survey results, and we were paid in advance. Thank you. It was Brandy that paid us, but anyway. The neighborhood that was designated is on the last page of our report, if I can get there. That is the city's map. And then the map in front of that, second to last page, is our map, which gives us better detail in terms of assigning the circulation areas. While I'm on that map, business owners and managers, per the party and interest portion of the statute, are highlighted in blue. And then the pink areas are the residents that we did. You know, you get old and you forget stuff, but we licensed all of the Bradley C-stores, and you folks bought it from Bradley, and I don't know when that was, in the 70s or the 80s maybe. Page number 1 of the report gives you the dates and times. Our petition format, which has been recognized in several Rule 106 decisions, was used. It has the type of license being applied for, states the public hearing date, and so on and so forth. Then just above the signature line, it tells you why the survey is being conducted, and if you have any complaints, provides the telephone number and name of the clerk. Did anybody call? Thank you. Item number 1 on page 2, we're telling the client we did what we contracted to do. Item 2 are the qualified contacts, parties in interest, favor or oppose for whatever reason. 37 businesses favoring, 2 against. Residences 123 favoring and 25 against. And then in the write in the reason, usually that's the person that opposes the license. We had 12 people that made some comment about no need, which of course is the purpose of this hearing. 3, abhorrence of alcohol. Abhorrence of alcohol is a Supreme Court term. That's a desire reason only. Commercial usage objections. That horse left the barn decades ago whenever this was zoned, so they get to continue a business there whether they have a license or not. 1, miscellaneous reason, and 3, no reasons given whatsoever. So in this survey category, we have, if you round up, 86% favoring the issuance of the license, and then if you buy our argument and subtract out the reasons that are desire reasons only, because the statutory test is the reasonable requirements of the neighborhood and the desires of the adult inhabitants, aka needs and desires, then the survey result goes to 93%. The margin of error is 3.3% added in, subtracted out in either category, and both are well over 50%, and argue for the issuance of the license. Any questions?
any questions from the authority?
Just one question. How do you determine how many door knocks you're going to do? Do you say we're doing petitioning for a set 8 hours and however many we hit in that 8 hours? Or is it time-based, or is it location-based?
It's location-based, and depending on the size of the neighborhood, we assign areas that geographically represent the neighborhood, and then I'm not sure, Tina supervises the surveyors, but they're told to go to a particular neighborhood and get X amount of completions. Let's pick a number, 25. So they either have 25 signatures for or against, then they return to some of the not at homes as they go back to the company car and then move to another area. So that's what this master circulation map is, and those are the areas that were assigned by our office, and then the surveyor went down, voir dired, and then said, do you favor or oppose, and presented the petition. That answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Any other questions from the authority? Thank you, Mr. Scott.
Thank you, nice seeing all you folks.
Any other questions of the applicant? Is there anything else you wanted to add? No? Okay. Is there anyone else here who would like to comment on the application? Seeing none, is there any discussion or a motion from the authority? Anyone?
I think it's pretty well supported by the petition. I still have a problem that perhaps the closest neighbors were not petitioned. That's right next door to Littleton Village. I would have liked to seen someone go in there, but the statistical probability that it's somewhere in the neighborhood between 85 and 95 still strongly leans towards that it's supported.
I would agree.
Same here. I appreciate you asking that question.
I'll make a motion to approve. I move that the public hearing be closed and that a resolution of the Littleton Licensing Authority be approved, which grants Stinker Stores Colorado, Inc., doing business as Stinker Stores, number 331, 7500 South Broadway, Littleton, Colorado, a 3.2% off-premise liquor license contingent upon approval by the Colorado Liquor Enforcement Division, and based upon the following findings of fact. 1, that the notice of the hearing was properly posted and published. 2, that the applicant has possession of the premises and the premises are suitable for the requested license. 3, that the needs of the neighborhood are not now being met. 4, that it is the desire of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood that the license be issued. 5, that existing similar liquor licenses in the designated neighborhood are not adequate. And 6, that the applicant is of good moral character, record, and reputation.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? This all seems to be in order to me. Any other thoughts? Will the clerk please poll the authority?
Chair Cole,
Yes.
Vice Chair Levere,
Yes.
Authority Member Buchanan,
Yes.
Authority Member Schock,
Yes.
Authority Member Webb.
Aye.
Thank you.
That passes. Congratulations, Mr. Nichols. The next item on the agenda is 5B, Resolution 18319, an application to grant a change of location permit for a retail liquor licensed premise for Littleton Discount Liquors LLC, doing business as Littleton Discount Liquors. Is there a representative from the applicant here? Yes. Good evening, come on down. Can you identify yourself for the record?
My name is Bruce Peckham. I'm owner-operator for Littleton Discount Liquors.
Sorry, it was Peckman?
Bruce Peckham,
Peckham. Good evening.
P-E-C-K-H-A-M.
Good evening, Mr. Peckham. Will you please raise your right hand, and do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give before this authority is truthful?
Yes, I do.
All right, so this is an application to move a current license. Would you like to provide any background as to the need for the move?
I'll start from the beginning. About a year ago, Armstrong Capital Development, a local property management company, bought our shopping center. And then I approached them requesting to do a long-term lease. I currently have 3 years left on my lease. And I'm thinking about my family and, my goodwill and my customers and my business, So I had 3 years left on my lease. I want to do a long-term deal. Approached them, they got to know me, invited me down to the tech center a few times. When all was said and done, yes, we'll do a deal with you. It'll be a long-term deal, like a 10+5, but you have to move into a brand-new vanilla suite in the middle of the building. My store is very antiquated. My walk-in cooler is 41 years old. My shelving, probably older than that. So I have a very antiquated store. My store, if it was up to me, I'd love to knock down the walls. Logistically, I'm not looking forward to moving 200,000 in inventory, 70 yards. That's pretty intimidating, but no pain, no gain. I think the benefits of moving to the new location are outstanding in that they correct a head-end parking problem. I'm right behind that Taco Bell.
You're on the east end of that.
That shopping
building,
center.
right?
I am on
Yeah.
the very east end.
Yep.
My head-end parking situation is right by the entrance. I
To
have
the parking lot, right.
altercations, accidents out there all the time. The landlord and I agreed that the right thing to do is to move the liquor store into the middle of the building, and then I will have a brand-new Villano suite. I will have up to 90 days to build out my store, which I'm in the process of doing already. It's going to cost some money. Landlord's going to pay a tenant improvement allowance, kind of meet me halfway on it. So we're going to have a brand-new store, which is going to meet the image requirements that the landlord has for the shopping center as they pump in millions of dollars into this shopping center and renovate the whole thing. They're building a fitness center, they're redoing the fascia. This landlord is, their plans are very impressive with the shopping center. So like I say, to do the long-term deal, I have to be prepared to move to the middle of the building. We've already signed Amendment 3 to the current lease, which is a 10+5. So that secures my liquor store for my family for the next 15 years, if I so need it. So that's where we are. I think it's good for everybody. It fixes the head-end parking problem I have and all the altercations that are out here. I have congestion problems inside my store. We've grown sales pretty impressively the last 4.5 years that I've been owning and operating. Told by our sales reps, I do sales numbers like a lot of medium-sized stores in the Denver metropolitan area. We have great relationships with City of Littleton Police. We have great relationships with our sales reps, our distributors. We have a clean record as far as never having sold liquor, wine, or beer to anybody under 21 in 4.5 years. Previous owner never had in 6 years, I understood. We card everybody. You know, I've been running this thing with like 3 other family members for the last 4 years, so I've had no turnover with my employees. And my oldest son works with me, closes Friday and Saturday night, so I'm kind of a family-only business. I know my family's not going to steal from me. So I have very little shrinkage. I have a few runners here and there. Last one was in broad daylight, like at noon. But so you have a few runners here and there. Shoplifting is kind of, shrinkage is very minimal in my store because I have family members who work for me. So we have a pretty good business going there. And I'm looking forward to moving to the middle of the building, into my new store, plan it all out, and prospering with the landlord.
All right, thank you for the presentation. In just a minute, I'll ask if there are any questions from the authority. Lena, since I can't remember doing just a move, is there anything we ought to know as we consider criteria, or anything you want to point out for our consideration?
I'm hopeful that everybody had a chance to read the staff report, but I think that does a pretty good job of setting out the test for a change of location. I know this is something that I don't believe anybody on this board has done before, but if you look at your staff report, you will see that the 2 tests that have to be met are that the proposed change of location will not conflict with the desires of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood, and that the reasonable requirements of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood in the vicinity with respect to the new location are not now being met. And the same consideration is given to the change of location request for a retail liquor license is the same as approving and denying a new license.
Okay.
And in this case, it's a little bit different because they're not moving to a new neighborhood.
Right, so right. Yeah, okay. Any questions from
Mr. Peckham, just to be clear, are you moving between the dollar store and affordable moving?
I am moving 60 yards to the west.
So up
So
again?
I'm going to be on the east side of affordable furniture.
Okay.
There's actually one accounting tenant between affordable furniture and my liquor space.
Okay.
But still, same building?
Same building,
Same.
same building.
Any other questions for the applicant?
You, just out of curiosity, because you are very close to the King Soopers there, correct?
Yes, I'm about 1,000 feet from the King Soopers.
Different jurisdiction,
Which is
In
Inglewood.
it, which is
different
an-
jurisdiction.
But he does present a problem for them in the future if they ever wanted,
Potentially. But
because they need 1,500
his store would
feet.
not become an issue. If they ever decide, I assume you're asking about them changing to a full liquor licensed drugstore?
Yeah.
So they would have to buy up 2 retail liquor licenses within their jurisdiction. They could move into our jurisdiction if they couldn't find 2 in their jurisdiction.
But they
to
need
buy.
2 from their jurisdiction and
Yeah, and there is another
1,500.
liquor store already on the Englewood side, down on the other side of the bank. So with Mr. Peckham being in our jurisdiction, it's really a non-issue.
But then, that raises another question. Since I'm within 1,500 feet, it's my understanding they would have to buy my liquor license to sell wine and liquor.
Yeah.
Okay, even though I'm in a different jurisdiction.
They would need you and then additional from their own jurisdiction.
Perfect.
As far as I
That's
understand
the
it.
security blanket that I've been relying on as I.
But definitely, seek your own counsel.
This is not legal
Yeah,
advice.
just want to make clear that, we're certainly not providing any sort of.
Yeah,
And this change of address wouldn't, I mean, it's not moving into the radius that is applicable.
Not at all.
So he's already there.
And Mr. Peckham, out of curiosity, what do your customers say?
well, my customers are excited. They're excited about the idea of a cleaner store, a new walk-in cooler, new shelving. My store is very antiquated. Sometimes people almost run into each other, people going in and out, and my employees comment that, hey, we're gonna have a lot more room at the new store. It's gonna be like completely, you could take a wheelchair anywhere, you know what I mean?
Might be brighter, too.
So they're excited for us because our regular customers, it's like 66% of your customers are regulars, you know them by name. The other third are random, just driving by and or stop by once in a while. Just convenience maybe. But the regular customers know us. They like us. We're personable. Every one of us can talk about wine, liquor, or beer to anybody. Even my oldest son can talk to you about wine for an hour, okay? So, so we all know the business. We all understand the seriousness, checking IDs, the seriousness of having a rapport with your customer, just ensure they haven't been drinking so I'd say we're experts at this point. That's your livelihood that's at stake. And what's the quickest way to let the world come crashing down on you? To get a citation for violating, something like that. So my family wouldn't do that to me. I wouldn't do that to myself. It's your livelihood. So, but the customers are very happy for us, the ones who know us, because we're excited about it, so they're happy for us. And they're happy for the experiences they're going to have at the new store at a later time.
All right, any other questions?
How long have you had this license or this store? Is it 4.5 years?
4.5 years, so since June 1st of 2014.
And then did you buy an existing license?
I did.
Okay.
Any other questions? I am going to ask, is there anyone here, this is the public hearing, is there anyone here who would like to comment? Seeing none, if there are no other questions from the authority, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. I move to approve the application for a change of location permit for Littleton Discount Liquors LLC, DBA Little Discount Liquors, from 2737 West Bellevue Avenue to 2753 West Bellevue Avenue, contingent upon approval from the Colorado Department of Revenue Liquor Enforcement Division.
A second?
We have a motion and a second. I just want to confirm, it's Little Discount Liquors.
Littleton Discount Liquors.
Littleton, okay, so I think, I think our notes might have,
It says doing business as Little Discount
yeah, so
Liquors.
why don't we, would you mind withdrawing and making the motion again with Littleton Discount Liquors?
Certainly.
Withdraw.
I move to approve the application for change of location permit for Littleton Discount Liquors LLC, DBA Littleton Discount Liquors, from 2737 West Bellevue Avenue to 2753 West Bellevue Avenue, contingent upon approval from the Colorado Department of Revenue Liquor Enforcement Division.
And then I second.
All right, we have a proper motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, will the clerk please poll the authority?
Chair Cole,
Yes.
Vice Chair Lavere,
Yes.
Authority Member Buchanan,
Yes.
Authority Member Schock,
Yes.
Authority Member Webb.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck with the daunting move.
Yeah, it's
I can
a
imagine
little
that's a lot of-
intimidating
it's a
thinking
lot of
about
work,
it.
yeah.
No pain, no gain.
All right,
All right, thank you very much.
goes well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. The next item on our agenda is item 6A, Resolution 18007, determine if probable cause exists to set a show cause hearing for Far East Venture, Inc., doing business as the Toad Tavern, 5302 South Federal Circle, number A, Littleton, Colorado. So we have Littleton Police Department report that is included. Are there any questions from the authority? Again, this is to determine if there is probable cause, in which case we would schedule a show cause hearing, and the prosecutor would look at the case and determine whether to enter into discussions with the applicant about any sort of settlement before that.
Are we moving straight to show cause, and is that the recommendation that we do not schedule a preliminary hearing?
I'm sorry, excuse me, you're right, I messed that up. We are deciding whether there would be probable cause, in which case we will schedule both. We will schedule both in case.
The preliminary hearing would be to discuss any potential stipulation or settlement, as Chair Cole was
Right,
discussing.
yeah, it'll be either or.
And that would be the month prior to show cause.
Right, so we'll schedule, if we find there's probable cause, we'll schedule both. If the prosecutor, doesn't enter into a stipulation, or the applicant doesn't agree to a stipulation, then we would just skip over the preliminary hearing.
Madam Clerk, I noticed this incident just took place last week, November 3rd. How is it that it rocketed to our docket?
We have a new, cleaner relationship with our investigative division, that as soon as a report comes across their desk that has anything to do with any liquor licensed establishment in the city, I immediately get a copy of it so that I can review it along with counsel to see if it's something that merits coming forth or not. So it was just advantageous that we already had a meeting scheduled.
I appreciate that, because in the past, we've seen them drag several months.
Yes, I agree.
So I'll just jump in and say, based on a couple of specific quotes in the police report, it seems to me that there is probable cause. Obviously, as always, there's two sides to a story, but it seems that others who had less of an interest than the applicant or than the licensee saw that the person was visibly intoxicated. So it seems to me that there is probable cause. Any other thoughts or comments from the authority?
I'll make a motion that we schedule a hearing.
Okay. Do you want to make the full motion? Do you have the?
Let me find the paperwork. I move that there is probable cause to believe that Far East Venture, Inc., DBA The Toad Tavern, 5302 South Federal Circle A, Littleton, Colorado, on November 3rd, 2018, did violate the Colorado Liquor Code and the Littleton City Code, and based on said findings, that a public hearing be set for January 9th, 2019, for the purpose of considering the status of said license, wherein the above-mentioned licensee may be present to show cause, if any, why its license should not be suspended or revoked. And further, that notice of these hearings, of these findings, and the hearing to show cause shall be forwarded and served to Far East Venture, Inc., DBA Toad Tavern, 5302 South Federal Circle, Number A, Littleton, Colorado, in accordance with the provisions of state law, and then a preliminary hearing, if necessary, be set for the 12th day of December 2018 for the purpose of considering a possible stipulation, if any, between the licensee and the city of Littleton. Thanks.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Like I said, it seems to me that there is probable cause. Any other discussion?
Just a question for the city attorney. It's hard to tell from the police report. Were the manager and the bartender also cited in a misdemeanor criminal action? Did they got summonses, but it doesn't say what the summonses are for.
Give me one second to look through this. If I remember correctly, I believe that only the bartender was served.
And the bartender is the one that served the liquor, the vodka?
Yes. So I believe the bartender was served with a sale of alcohol to intoxicated persons, and then the other offense that you see is a violation of a court order, but I believe that is for the person
victim.
that was drinking.
Yeah.
Any other questions or thoughts?
No, I think there's lots to unpack here within the police report, and I think this is a lot more than we've seen with other cases and a lot of good investigative work
By a patrol officer.
by a patrol officer.
No, if there's no further discussion, will the clerk please poll the authority?
Chair Cole,
Yes.
Vice Chair Levier,
Yes.
Authority Member Buchanan,
Yes.
Authority Member Schock,
Yes.
Authority Member Webb.
Yes.
All right, the next item on the agenda is 9A, our staff monthly report. So we have the actual physical report, but is there anything you'd like to point out, or is there anything beyond the report that you'd like to mention?
Just a couple of other things. This will be the last show cause that, do you want to talk to them about that? How it's going to go to the prosecutor first before it goes to you?
Oh, sure.
Okay, I'm going to let her take that, and then I have one more thing for you.
Okay.
After discussions with Mr. Kemp, who's the city attorney, we've decided to update our processes a little bit on how we handle the management of show cause hearings. So we are still hammering out the details a little bit, and once we figure that out, we'll let you know how we're going to split up that responsibility between myself and the prosecutor moving forward. So once we have a little bit more detail, we'll let you know.
But the case we just voted on will proceed under the process we've been using to this point? Okay.
And then the only other thing I had for you was that December 1st, they will open up the application process for authorities, boards, and commissions. We do have one member who is term limited, so Chair Cole will be leaving us. We do have a vacancy now with our alternate Jerome Winsek, who moved out of city limits. And then we have two that will be, terms will be up in 2019, and that is Authority Member Levier and Authority Member Day, who will need to reapply if they're interested in reappointment or consideration for reappointment. So we will technically have 4 seats up next year.
So will we just wait to replace the?
Correct. We're not going to
This point.
backfill Authority Member Winsek's alternate seat right now, since we'll be filling those in 3 months anyway.
Okay. Anything else from staff? Anything? Oh, go ahead.
One comment. Again, appreciate the monthly report. It really gives us an idea of what we see as we drive down Main Street and answers questions that we'd otherwise ask.
And I'm sure some of you have seen the store frontage for Bacon Social House over across from the courthouse. We had hoped to have them in front of you before now, but I hear now they're looking at a March open date. So I would expect to see an application from them in the next couple of months.
Anything else from the authority? I'll just add, I appreciate whatever new process you have in place. Please pass along gratitude to the police department. I think this makes a lot more sense to be flagging those. One, to make sure that they get here if they should be. But also, I think the time makes a lot of sense, especially when we add in 2 months. If it takes a couple months to get in front of us, sometimes we're talking about a very long time, if witnesses need to be called. So I appreciate, thank you for working on that, and please pass along my thanks to the police department as well. Anything else? If not, this meeting is adjourned.